We are now here at the LHC point 2 where ALICE experiments, control room and other activities are situated related to the measurement. I have here Helsinki Institute of Physics, a researcher in the ALICE project working here in the CERN. Can you briefly introduce yourself and tell something about ALICE? What is ALICE and some kind of basic information so that the audience can catch up?
Hi Juha, thanks. So I'm Yury Melikyan. I am a postdoc researcher at HIP since last year, and I'm working here in ALICE to make sure that this experiment is up and running all the time. So ALICE is a fancy acronym of a Large Ion Collider Experiment. So it makes distinctive that ALICE is more about heavy ion physics rather than other experiments at the Large Hadron Collider. So it's a dedicated machine to study the special type of matter that is generated when heavy ions like lead ions are collided at extremely high energies, such as a few TeVs per nucleon. So the outcome of these collisions is the probable production of the so-called quark-gluon plasma. This is a very special state of matter, which is not plasma, by the way, even though there is a word plasma in its name. But it's generated only here in ALICE, only here in the collisions of the Large Hadron Collider, or it also was generated quite some millions or billions of years ago, right after the Big Bang. So from this matter, our universe evolved. And that's why we think it's quite important to study it, and it's quite interesting. So recent studies, okay, not so recent, but studies here at ALICE and also in similar experiments show that this quark-gluon plasma is actually a perfect liquid, and the special transport coefficients and other technical parameters for this matter were derived and measured here. So we now know slightly more than normal people before.
Okay, that's the complicated thing, but I understood one word was this Big Bang, and everybody must know about this, and this is studying this, what happens in that type of situation, the gluon plasma thing. And this has been running for several years or even decades now in some kind of setup. How many upgrades there has been during to this time, and what's the next step for the ALICE experiment? What will happen in the future related to ALICE?
Yeah, that's true. ALICE actually was a project that was confirmed, approved back in 1993. And since then, there were 1.5 decades of construction. And starting from 2008, 2009, ALICE is in operation. There were 2 successful runs of LHC with the original ALICE, 2 runs each roughly 4 years long. And this first original ALICE was decommissioned in 2018. And after that, it undergone a major upgrade with installation of quite some new subsystems. So much of the hardware downstairs now is brand new. It was installed in 2020 and it's in between 2018 and 2020, and now it's running. Now it's the so-called 3rd run of LHC operation, and it will finish in a couple of years from now. And we are working here not only to make sure that data is being collected, but also we are developing a couple of new devices to enrich the physics potential of ALICE. So in a few years from now, we plan to install the new forward colorimeter for the ALICE to equip it even better. And also another system, the inner tracking system, would also be replaced with a brand new device, because this is a semiconductor thing, and this field of technology doesn't stay idle. There are always some developments, and here in Ellis we have almost everything cutting edge. So these two new detectors would be installed in a few years from now, and now we are doing the R&D for this. Basically, the Ellis project was designed for several runs and of LHC, and only in 2030s, in the middle of 2030s, there is a plan for a brand new experiment, so that all the hardware from the cavern downstairs would be moved out and demolished or go to museums, and there would be a brand new experiment. Although the name would be rather similar, it would be called LS3. But yes, the current concept of the detector with this nice red room temperature magnet solenoid and so on. So this will stay till the middle of 2030s, which is rather interesting because all work started in 1993. So it's more than 35 years. It could be like a life for a physicist. I didn't join the project from the very beginning, but there are people who are here from the very beginning actually. So this is like, I believe they consider it to be like their baby or something like this.
Thank you. And I perhaps didn't mention that we are at Alice what's it called?
It's Alice Exhibition.
Alice Exhibition Room, and there are, like you see here, 3D elements and projectors and screens where you can learn about Alice more if you visit here as a summer student in CERN or some other, or as a high school student, or even small children can come here and learn something about Alice, not only in the Wonderland but in the CERN. Here, deep in the French side, this is a point too, is quite not so quite far, some kilometers away from Meran side, which people seem to consider as the main side of the CERN research center. Or what's your opinion? There are many opinions because you're Alice researcher. You think perhaps that this place is the most important?
You mean among the LHC? Oh, yes, for me it is. Oh, I also have a nice lab in Meran side, but yes, here the equipment is a bit more expensive. But you are right that it's a very good place for outreach and for some educational purposes for groups of students, group of pupils, for kids. There are some Swiss laws that do not allow kids to go downstairs. That's why here in Ellis we did our best for the outreach, for the equipment that you could see around, maybe not in the shootage, but here it's a good place for the outreach, even for kids, and there are special media material distributed all around in 3D and in all other formats that makes it at least nice. You can come here if you don't like physics, just come to make some photos.
Thank you very much, Yury. This gave more insight to the alleys, and so people can come here and visit and learn even more. Thank you. Thank you.